Hope everybody's doing okay. And 3, 2, 1, let's jam. Da 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 da. I hope you're all doing okay today. Welcome back to Control. It can get weirder. Where we last left off, our protagonist Jessie Faden came to the oldest house in search of her brother, who was kidnapped by the Federal Bureau of Control at a young age. We found a magic gun. We became the director of the agency. We watched someone get twisted teed in the head. We fought a mailman. And we got our next assignment. We need to make our way to the maintenance sector. That is where we must go. But I want to check and see if we have clearance to go do something in Dead Letters. But we need to go to maintenance to lift the lockdown, to look for the other members of the management team. That is our objective, currently anyway. I do not have level 2 clearance yet. That is a shame. We already looked at that videotape. Okay. So we want to fast travel. Also, this game does a really neat thing. So see how Central Executive is yellow? That means we have found everything in that room that we can find collectibles-wise. So if a name turns yellow, we have found everything there that we can find. Which, if you are obsessive over collectibles like a certain someone else, hello, that is literally a godsend. But before we go down to the elevator, our lovely friend,
like it's coming from the elevator.
Miss Emily Pope, I think has more for us to discuss.
Hi, Jessie.
No.
Thanks,
in fact,
Emily. I'm
it's
sure
the
I'll have
same.
questions soon.
It's
Just
literally
let
the
me
same.
know.
But there is a report next to her, and I do like reports. Okay. Analysis of the Hiss Threat Part 1. Initial encounters with the entity known as the Hiss have revealed various behavioral facts. Most notably, the Hiss is able to invade or corrupt control points, altered items, and even humans, radically changing their behavior. Curiously, any person wearing one of the wearable HRA devices that Dr. Darling has been distributing over the past few weeks is not affected. The only known exception is the new director, Jessie Faden, who possesses an inherently immunity to the Hiss. This could indicate that she has already been corrupted, but her behavior is so in contrast to that of the other Hiss that I have dismissed this theory. My final observation comes from Miss Faden herself. She is able to cleanse material and organisms of Hiss corruption. We tested this on an entity, but unfortunately, the process killed the host. Perhaps the host's physiology must become resilient. More work to be done. Indeed, it is time to kill more Hiss. Literally all you missed was me going over that report. And me doing a last time on Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, there's mysterious singing coming from the elevator. And we can take it to the maintenance
Like I said
access
before,
corridor.
the janitor is a friendly face.
Good old Ati. That gives me an idea. Just a thought.
The maintenance sector is the janitor domain. If I can find Ahti here, he can help me reach the override. Maybe it was you who got me into the oldest house with the lockdown on. Maybe it was Ahti. It felt like he made the elevator
There we
appear
go.
that took me to
Square
office.
to reconfigure the gun.
Is Ahti guiding me too?
And then that is to pick stuff up. Ooh, this bloom. I see a little silhouette of some red. Scaramouche, Scaramouche. There's probably shooting to be done. The janitor's office is this way. Oh, I know why it's red. Because that is literally the lockdown terminal. Right there.
How do we get there?
That's our objective. One day. But don't mind me looking around for missable objects. We're coming up on the janitor's office. Ooh. Pull out our shotgun, shall we? God, that thing packs a punch. Fixed it for you. And that door has to be open from the other side. Oh! That hurt. Oh, something is hurting me. Okay, we're safe. For now. You know the deal. Clear room. Search for collectibles. And generally, everywhere where we had thwomped a dude's face in, there should be a health pickup as well. And now that we can craft, we also want to be on the lookout for crafting materials as well. Oh, I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. Today's been, it's been something. I'll say that. We have a clearance 4-door over there.
What's down that way?
Right over by the janitor's office. There's a strange thing happening in the break room. Yup. That's right.
Ugh. This place makes me nauseous.
Oh no, it didn't render the floor.
An object of power.
I know
How do you
these are
think
the
it got down
types of
here?
glitches that you love, but still.
A carousel horse. Why is kid stuff always so creepy?
Let's try cleansing this horsey. Oh, is this the ability I've been missing? Yes, it is. Woohoo! We've got a dash now. Hey, you know, don't let your dreams be dreams, I guess. Cold enemies are immune to my attacks. I meant to do that. So dashing, along with all of our other lovely abilities, really. Oh! That uses up power meter juice. They're gonna launch grenades at me. Me and the horse are now friends for life. You know, I'm glad. I'm glad you're getting the cyberpunk experience that you dreamed of. Woohoo! Let's get out of here. So if you've heard me not complaining but mentioning that I was pushing buttons, it did nothing. One of the ones I was hitting was circle because I kept trying to evade. And up until now, could not. Whee! And we're back in the break room. That is actually, if I recall, an optional upgrade. I really recommend doing it if you ever play Control on your own. Health per pickup. We can deconstruct that one. Assets. Missions. Collectibles. Case files. The merry-go-round horse. Merry-go-round horse. Object of power 16 KE. Object should be kept within confined space when unbound. A fiberglass horse once used as a seat for a merry-go-round ride. The pole is still connected to the object. The object is capable of moving short distances at high speeds. This can be quite dangerous when blank its path. The object is currently bound by blank. The object was discovered at the site of an abandoned amusement park. Local blank reported the rides would move on their own, and they would be chased out. When these rumors reached the Bureau, see America Overnight episode 235, agents were dispatched to investigate. 3 local blank were found dead at the scene. The object attacked Agent Blank by blank. Agents invoked Formula C.5 to blank the object long enough to blank. And that's the story. And there's nothing in here, really, to grab. Oh! I know what's in here. Hey, Ty. You know what time it is. You can't see it, but I'm doing a stupid dance right now. Let's join those Threshold kids. Oh,
It's
if
an
Ty tuned out, I
astral
understand
plane.
why completely. Yes, air dash is optional.
Astral plane. It's big, white, and empty. Or is it? It's a weird, crazy alien dimension. The light goes on forever. You can get lost in all that white.
Oh, is this one where she,
And
like,
never
stares at the
find your
screen for an
way back
uncomfortable amount of time in
home.
silence?
I miss my home.
And that was the episode. I hope y'all enjoyed that episode of the Threshold Kids. Oh, if Pilot comes in the stream, I'm gonna make that get watched again. Hi, Adi. God, that's creepy.
Well done. You got the job. It's place for congratulations. Yippee, saatana. It happened in the last drop. I truly need an assistant.
Funny thing is, I've been a janitor. I'm more at home in that role than as the director. Only Ati here seems to see that.
Yeah, hi, Ati. Look, we need to get the lockdown lifted, otherwise I can't get to the other sectors. Can you help me get to the override?
Yes, easy peasy. It's just around the corner. But first, we need to get you working. Very small, couple of hours job.
Something tells me it's gonna be more than that.
It'll be more than that.
Jaha, you think there's a dog buried in this? I can tell you are not yesterday's Krause's son. That's why you'll make a great assistant. Very well. I'll hit the facts on the table. Mä kyllä sanon perkele suoraan, että this house has a vermin problem. A bad one. They've already messed up the cooling pumps. And the power generators of a power plant, perkele. And the pensioner inside is starting to feel the band around his head tighten. The situation needs to be fixed.
The pensioner. We'll get into that one when that comes up. That is something that unless you read the lore very specifically, you may not know.
My best to keep up with this.
And we'll get to
Fix
that.
the coolant pumps and the power generators, otherwise the power plant will blow.
But don't you worry. I've left you clear instructions. You'll catch the end of the thread before I go to my vacation. The work's on the task board here. You can do later, when you have time.
Vacation? Right.
Yes, no one's gonna cancel my holiday or seat's gonna rattle. But
Once again,
don't
he
worry
is
at
answering
all.
our
You'll
internal
take
monologue.
care of it, and soon this crisis gonna be last winter's snow. You better go now, so you don't have to run with your head as your third leg. The door in the back leads to the plant.
The door in the back. That's great. Thank you, Ati.
Okay. So we have our to-do list.
Yep. Burn the trash. Throw it in the fire. Burn it all. Burn it into a reindeer.
So he'll give us side quests. We have a multimedia. Oh, that's just Threshold Kids. Let's work. Let's track directorial override. Level 2. open up those shortcuts.
Okay, so what happens again if that thing blows up?
Power.
The NSC power plant.
Too much. Director's duty. Keep the lights
on. Did that give us a hotline by any chance? That didn't yet. Oh, there we go. Northmore.
Northmore was director before me. I never wanted his job. I never wanted power. I purposefully avoided it. Didn't trust it. Didn't want to rely on it. Northmore was all about
Note to self, if Ty's ever needs to be brought down a peg, just play one note of Threshold, kids.
For more. Until it was too much. I had to find a solution in the end. Contain the situation. Northmore never liked me, but he went along with it, to his credit. He didn't really have a choice. I suppose at the end of the day, a director's most basic duty is to keep the lights on. Here's to you, Northmore. There were no prime candidates waiting in the wings.
Yeah, Northmore.
Had been the whole time, keeping my head down, working my ass off. I had nothing to lose. I picked up the gun.
What are the odds of that ever happening, though? Alright. Large enough. Hey, Franchi. You haven't missed much. Attention, an object of power escaped the Panopticon a few weeks ago. So if anybody sees a merry-go-round horse hopping around the sector, do not try to contain it to your own. And definitely don't bind it to yourself. Simon Erish. Oops. They say as they use the object of power to dash. Well, I'm glad you could join me and join us, if not for a little. There's no spooks. The NSC power plant. Oh, that's a person. Oops. Uh-huh.
Hey, are you new? Then go talk with Chief Arish in the security booth. He's in charge here.
Chief Arish in security. Got it. But first, I'm gonna look for collectibles, because, you know, the lore. This is a door we don't have access to yet. This is a shelter. Get some loot. Some threshold remnants. And then we can keep it going.
Dangerous out here, lady. But go see Chief Arish. He's just inside. He'll help you.
Ma'am! Hey! Chief Arish, FBC Security. Shouldn't you be in a safe room?
He doesn't know who I am.
They all have HRAs. We're on the same side.
My name is Jesse Faden. I'm here to perform the directorial override to get the lockdown lifted.
Yeah, Chief Arish, FBC Security. I'm just... Oh, hang on, you're the new director. It's a pleasure, ma'am.
Let's skip the formalities, please.
Right. Faden, ma'am. Look, as you can probably tell, it's a bit of a shit
This guy
show.
kind of gives me Eric
We're
vibes.
holding our ground, but whatever's gotten into our buddies has them wrecking the coolant pumps and the power converters.
No reason.
The NSC keeps overheating, and my crews keep getting shot before they have a chance to make any repairs.
NSC?
Oh, sorry. Bureau jargon. It's what we call the power plant. You know, the big rumbling metal thing? Salvador, head of security, asked me to protect it in case of an attack. See, what's inside is dangerous. Dr. Darling seemed to know it would be a target.
Darling, he's here?
No, he came down a few days ago, before everything went to hell. He was out of it. Smelled like a bar mat. He was ranting about vulnerabilities and how he only had one large-scale HRA, but that he needed it somewhere else. Still, at least he gave us these personal HRAs before he left. Hey, did I mention that he was tearing his clothes off? Crazy dude.
Darling knew the hiss was coming.
Listen, I love playing 20 questions as much as the next guy, but we have got to get the water and electrical systems repaired before this baby blows. I'll have my guys unlock the doors out of here for you.
I'll take care of it. You stay and keep the hiss away from the plant if you can.
The hiss? That's what we're calling him? Oh, that's catchy. Oh, listen, the radios aren't working, so if you find my boss Salvador out there, could you please ask him what the plan is? I'm sure he will have one by now.
I'll keep an eye out for him.
Sure will.
He sure has a lot of faith in his boss.
Try to stay alive.
Alright. What do you got for us?
When the converters and coolant pumps are working again, we should be able to get this baby back down to a safe temperature. I hope.
What about the hiss?
What do you know about the hiss?
Not much, only what I've seen. Well, they use the same tactics that Marshall and Salvador taught us, which makes me think that the hiss haven't completely erased the people inside, which is a pretty fucking horrible thought. Or they're just using whatever they find in their victims' heads. In any case, they are really eager to get inside the power plant.
Why do you think that is?
Shit, I don't know. They want to make my life harder?
What about, you?
What do you do here, Arish?
Security chief of the maintenance sector. I make sure all the weird shit down here doesn't bother the maintenance crews. Learned everything I know from Salvador. The best security agent this bureau has ever seen.
And you like your job?
I love it. You know, everyone thinks that maintenance is the lowest rung on the ladder just because we fix pipes instead of writing memos, but I gotta be honest. These are the bravest people in the goddamn building. I'm proud to work with them.
I've done a few
Excellent.
odd jobs with these kind of folks. They say what they mean. I like that.
Well, what about the NSC power plant?
What exactly is the power plant?
Listen, I only know what Salvador told me, but I know it generates all the electricity for the Bureau, and it's got two very simple rules. Rule 1, keep it below a certain temperature. Rule 2, don't ever, ever open it. Oh, and 3, it's classified, so I shouldn't ask.
Sounds like secrets are standard operating procedure around here.
Oh, yeah. It's all part of the job.
Alright, well, what about my service weapon?
What do you know about the service weapon?
Not much. That thing is director only. Salvador told me by the time he saw Trench use it. Sounds like that gun can do some serious damage. Yeah, I did see pictures of it once, though, and it looks different to that thing you're carrying. You modded or something? It's new.
Is new a good thing?
Given the circumstances, I'd say new is our best bet.
Well, what about Ati?
Do you know this Ati guy?
Of course. He's my favorite coffee break buddy. Dude has got some crazy stories. And he probably knows more than anyone else around here. If you can make sense of what he's saying.
Any idea where he's from?
I'm guessing Sweden.
He's from where he's from. Look, there are just some stones that are better left unturned, you know?
Yeah, I know. Well,
I
thank
should be
you,
going.
Security Chief
Right.
Arish.
We got a lot down to lift.
Oh, we got any lore in here? Gentlemen. Thank you. Yes. Emergency converters disabled and the coolant systems are disabled. That's no good. Lore.
Is the clock?
Hey Simon, I got your message. Yeah, if someone in the sector is asking about Ati, just tell him you'll handle it and leave it at that. Under no circumstance should any personnel intervene with his day-to-day routine. I've told you everything I know about him, so you could better deal with his odd habits. But yes, it's still very much a classified matter. I saw your report about a quarry worker who wandered into the Foundation. Detaining him was the right move. We'll figure out what he saw before we decide the next steps. Cheers, Lynn. P.S. In case you hadn't noticed, something is up with Trench and Darling. I know this isn't your strong suit, but try your best to stay out of it.
Back. Now.
Okay. And we got a control point. which means we can level up. I'd like more health, please. Holy cow, I want more health. And do we have enough to do some crafting? No. No, we don't. And I need more materials for pretty much everything. Oh, we have countermeasures too. So board countermeasures are like little tasks we can do for the board. Using charge, kill enemies in executive, kill enemies with the serviceable and surge mode, spin mode, executive, charge. We have none of those, so that doesn't matter. So yeah, at the center of the Bureau is the NSC power plant. What does that stand for? We'll find out later. That is central maintenance. And there's the NSC energy converters, so let's head that way. Get wrecked. Nope. And this leads to central maintenance. And no, that is not the sound of my footsteps on metal. That funky beat is, just the music. Got these funky hiss boxes. Why don't they give all the higher-ups telekinesis? Yes. So, the reason I have telekinesis is because I have bound myself to a object of power, re-SCP. So there's only one. Thresholds. Examination of Paranatural Topics. Thresholds by order of Casper Darling, done by Carla Vaughn. The oldest house is a place in flux. Thresholds appear with no warning. What the threshold will contain is a question we can only answer once it manifests. The widely accepted theory is that thresholds are dimensions vibrating on a redacted frequency different from our own. Within these frequencies match, the threshold will manifest in the oldest house and acts as a blank. Others theorize they are parallel universes, or possibly our own reality at a different point in time. Some believe our collection of altered materials affects the house or attracts thresholds. We do know for certain that thresholds are not permanent, and eventually their frequency will shift. Some believe the Earth itself is just another threshold connected to the Earth's oldest house, which is rooted in some sort of other reality. This theory, while impossible to disprove, causes blank in those who've learned it, so it's actively denied. So we have field training that way, and Black Rock processing this way. And we have enemies. Ooh. New mission, a good defense. But we'll look at that in a hot minute. We have things to uncover. We have a checkpoint. We know that the Atlas Chamber, along with Blackrock Processing, is that way. We have more lore. A Tennyson report. And the turbine room, which is sealed off. So let's look at our collectibles first. The safe object of power can produce a barrier using objects or materials from its immediate vicinity. See Object of Power 22 case file for more details. Bureau Rangers were given permission to employ heavy weaponry against a para-utilitarian bound to this object in order to gauge the barrier's durability. And blank velocity ammunition was tested with blank results. Testing will continue after blank. The Object of Power is a clearly viable candidate for use in combat response scenarios. Allowing para-utilitarians to participate in altered engagements would be an advantage worth considering. And then the Tennyson report warning. Listen, Trench is on the warpath about this Tennyson report thing. He wants to know who wrote it, and he wants to know yesterday. Whoever did is going to get crucified. I don't want to know if it was one of you guys, and I don't want to know. I'm not super keen on leading a witch hunt, so tell everyone in the sector to keep their heads down. Best not to be on anyone's radar, you know? I'll tell ya, not even counting all the weird shit we deal with, this place can be a downright hostile work environment sometimes. A. I think I remember what's this way. So, this is a fire break. We can't go this way yet, but these are basically gaps in the oldest house which prevent otherworldly shenanigans from crossing into one sectors to another. We don't have a way to cross this one yet, but there it is. And there's another optional upgrade, which we're going to get in a minute, which is the other way. In field training. Let's work hard. I'd like to use a formal complaint re the unauthorized use of my voice in the state of quality I did not agree on. The fact that they were planning to use material from what I thought was a rehearsal at all. Had I been, I would have disallowed the use of those recordings. I want the Ranger Field Training Course recorded messages to halt immediately. I will not stand for this immediate humiliation among my peers. I'll go to HR if necessary. Randall Pulaski. Sounds like somebody's a weenie. We got anything else? Supplies.
So I just read this. Welcome to the Ranger Field Training Course. The course must be completed in the specified amount of time. When you're ready to start, press the button. Is that all, or?
I always did love obstacle courses.
Course starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Boop. Oh, I'm terrible. I am awful. I'm the worst field ranger ever. Oh no.
45 seconds remaining.
Give me the cube. Cube goes in there. Keep going. Look for the cubes. There's a cube. Put it in the cube slot. Give me the cube. We're going.
15 seconds.
Oh, I'm terrible.
5 seconds remaining. Failed. Ranger.
Come on.
Yeah, course failed. Oopsie. Alright, one more time.
Get ready, Ranger. Course starting in 5, 4, 3, 2,
1.
Go.
Bam. Duh. You know, I don't want to ask how the course knows to reset itself. I know the answer is some spooky paranatural shit. But still, I want to ask. Okay. Block.
15 seconds remaining.
Uh-huh. Give me that one. Teleport.
5 seconds remaining.
I did it.
Guessing this isn't usually part of the course. I need to hit it harder to break that shield. It's protecting itself.
Yep, so this is another optional upgrade. The shield. You would think all of this is mandatory. It's not. It's not. So this is the shield. We can hold it up as long as we have stuff to burn. Ow. And unfortunately... Oh god. Yep, saw that coming. Because I went in with very little health. That's okay, it should put us right back at the beginning of that, astral plane room. Fun fact, first time through, I went the entire maintenance chapter, or arc, I guess, without the ability to shield. Boo Boo the Fool. Stop to breathe. Yeah. And you can dash in combination with the shield. You can jump with it too. See, you learn something every day. There is one very annoying enemy type that I think the shield is no use on. I forget if we run into that enemy in this chapter or not. I know there is one that you do fight in maintenance, but I forget if it's part of the lockdown arc. God, I hope it is not.
Dying out of shield.
Oh no. And bam. And bam. Get wrecked. Everything's on. And there's a sniper up there. I don't think we've encountered those yet. Dash. Where is he? There he is. He's over there. I think he's dead now. Nope, he's right there. Oh, holy hell. Don't like that guy. I do not like that guy. But we did it. We got the shield. Go team. Let's go. Oh, we got the plastic tree. Holiday memorial tree, altered item 14AE. Note this is an altered item, not a object of power. Altered items are items that are affected by events. A holiday memorial tree brand white plastic tree with green plastic stand. The item repeats words and phrases spoken within a range of blank feet, always in a tone below blank hertz. The verbal mimicry has profoundly distressing effects on the individual it's copying. This was taken from the blank, a Canadian research ability established on the Ross Island in Antarctica, where it was used to celebrate the holiday season. In 1979, a solar radiation damaged the radio, severing the base's only means of communication. After the frozen passages were opened, a military expedition visited the base to re-establish contact. They found the occupants in various states of madness, rambling about voices in the tree. Military personnel also discovered they heard the tree speaking. After locking them an item in a supply crate, they brought it back to the mainland, at which point the Bureau intervened. And the home safe. Object of power, 22KE. No unique procedures. The object is a guardhouse brand home safe. Weight measurements may vary. When bound, the object allows para-utilitarians to telekinetically gather items and debris from their surroundings. The object is currently bound to blank. Discovered in the basement of a home in blank, Ohio, the object gained rapid interest in a certain online forums dedicated to opening abandoned safes. After months of failure, the owner attempted to open it with explosives. The object survived with no physical damage. Bureau agents were dispatched, now confident in its paranatural nature. Blood occasionally emerges from the seam around the door. Tests confirm the blood is not human. X-rays taken of the object indicate something is trapped inside, though the images are always blurred, which indicates the contents of the object are moving. Any attempts to open it have been unsuccessful. Blood safe. Blood safe. No other document around here. And so ends the saga of the testing course. And we can return to our pressing task at hand, the NSC power plant. Look at that. Hey look, a mold room. Couldn't pay me. Could not pay me to go in there. Alright, let's level up. I would like more energy, please. We have one left, so let's up the shield a little bit. Shield barrage. We have so many things to get later. 4 more mods, and we get an additional personal mod slot. Excellent.
It's fried up. You need to fix it before the old twig bats inside the plant has a shit fit.
Alright, y'all heard the Ati. We gotta fix it before the tensioner has a shit fit. Office chair. Whoa! We got rocket boys. Alright. Let's start working on the cooling pump. Shall we? I forget if there are ports on the other side or not. Thankfully, I can carry these with little to no interruption.
We're fixed. Now let's fix the pumps and water flow.
People who worked with me at the theater would know we had a pretty infamous maintenance guy named Curtis. He always used to say to the people in maintenance, you know, what are we doing today, Curtis? Regular maintenance. And that's how he talked. Very antisocial, but seemed like a nice guy for the most part. Just looking around for collectibles before we move on. And that's why I named the description of this episode Regular Maintenance. Just in honor of him. I hope the guy's doing okay. Oh. this leads to the NSC control room. Upcoming game reminder. Next Wednesday, 8 as usual. The usual spot. Hazard owes me 20. Arish still on a fucking winning streak. At least somebody please figure out how he's cheating. Thompson suspended for a game because of the shady dealing incident. Guy, I owe you 60. I brought beers last night, so it's Heps and Stahl's turn. Remus. I'm shocked we didn't get a OOP video about either the safe or the merry-go-round. I love our little darling. So we have a lot of floors we can go. We can go to the quarry. We don't want to do that. Especially doing that. Oops. Oops. I'd like my elevator back, please. The quarry is a high-level area. We'll go there later in the game. We'll need to go there. Right now we don't, so I'm gonna steer clear of it. Call me a coward if you must. But I know better. And we're back out here. We went over there in the energy converters. We'll now need to go to another side. A little bit of cowardice, a little bit of common sense. The quarry has both the guys that I like to call the cuddle monsters, where you don't want them near you. It has a lot of high-level hiss, and it also has molded. And all my homies hate the molded. Isn't that right, homies? Now we want to go to the coolant pumps. Yeah. Yeah, that place. So these guys are suicide bills. I have named them suicide bills now. That just happened. So that's what we're calling them. Stay away! Get away, Freddie Mercury, you're already dead. Anybody else? Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. The furnace chamber is also this way, and one of our jobs is to burn the trash. Oh god. Suicide bills. Oh, and that's a Levitating Tom. He's called Levitating Tom now. So that one boss is now an enemy type. That's fun. Fixed it for you. If I recall, I'll go to Astral Constructs. I can upgrade our basic pistol, which means I can put a second mod on it now. So I could give it damage against armor, or just damage. I like just damage. I've also picked up a lot of mods. Let's just clear out the spares, because the resources we get back from dismantling these can be used to craft. Alright, so this is furnace.
By trash, did Ati mean barrels full of hazardous biological material?
Yes. Yes, he did, Jesse.
Seems like I'm breaking some environmental regulations on waste disposal, but if that's what Ati wants...
This is what Ati wants. This room always made me really uncomfortable my first time through the game, and that's not a joke. Like, I just generally found this room to be unsettling. We're looking for green barrels. You blame it on the big wall of fire. Yes. That's probably right. And once again, I will say, not really trying to make a joke. It just makes me uncomfortable. And the eerie silence. Yeah, that's not helping. There's a barrel over there, along with a hint that there's mold. Which means I'll be avoiding that like the plague. Looking for the last toxic barrel. We only want the toxic ones. Mail tube complaint. Hey Bozer, get this. The accounting department still says they haven't received my expense reports. They say the receipts probably got lost in the mail tubes because of a shift or a threshold or some fuckery that if I don't have the originals, they can't verify my expenses for reimbursement. This is such bullshit. Why do we even use these fucking tubes if they just spit our mail out in some other dimension? Just venting here before I'm making a moral complaint. Useless piece of shit, Rodriguez. We have a ton of stuff to look at. Like this toxic waste that I'm gonna chuck in a fire. Excellent. Anything? Nope. Cool. Give me just one moment. I'm gonna get some water and I'll be right back. I'm back, I'm hydrated, and there's nothing you can do about it. Weep. Let's look at our mods. Yeah, I will swap recoil out for more damage. Hey, I'll work on that. At least... Huh? Huh? Yes, yes. 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 Come on, come on. Come on, come on, we're gonna make this work. Eh. Come on. Sequence breaking. A place I probably shouldn't be able to go until much later in the game. That is a TV with a picture of fire. And there's another TV with picture of fire. What happens if I chuck it in the fire? Yeah, I'm definitely meant to do that later, once I have the ability to reach higher places. Let's level up. More launch damage. Yes, please. And we have some collectibles, too. Research and records. We have the Hiss Charged. These are the Splody Boys. And then we have the Furnace Research, which played while we were putting the trash away. Ooh.
We need to fix this thing ASAP.
Hey, you're right. The NSC coolant pumps. And we could see signs of mold. There's also enemies everywhere. Try not to die. I said try not to die. Each time we fix a pump, we get a few more dudes. We got some Screamin' Peters. Yes, I realize I just changed their name again. They are Screamin' Peters now. Also, I like keep hitting square to reload instinctively, because in every other video game ever, Square is reload. Here it is not. It ain't. It just ain't. The gross blockage down in the water systems is back. What is it? Where does it keep coming from? And why does Ati keep yelling nonsense at it? He acts like it can understand him. Of course he acts like we understand him too. Guess that's just his brand of crazy. I'm gonna try out some new drain cleaner, extreme strength. I think we're coming up on that enemy that I hate the most. Or a mini-boss. I think it might be the mini-boss. This game does not have a reload button. It doesn't need one, but it also doesn't have one.
Shit. What now?
What's blocking the pipe?
Is blocking the pipes. You need to deal
The goopiest enemy indeed.
It's very clever.
We want to stay back here. This will kill us.
What the hell is that? Oh, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
So yeah, you gotta get rid of the clog. This thing is disgusting. Is the clog paranormal in nature? The answer is yes. Ugh. Ugh, oh god. But you never really find out, like, what's doing it. Why the clog is. Just gotta do battle with it. Just like Ati. Yeah, that is the follow-up. This is a Remedy game.
I don't like that sound.
Yeah, we shouldn't like that sound. Funny enough, my mental image of McKeely is kind of Jesse Faden. But that's putting my own headcanons on people's OCs.
Let's go lift the lockdown.
Yay! The elevator is red, which can only mean one thing. It means it's time for a mini-boss. Let's get ready to mini-boss. Mini-boss over. The Hiss Troopers. Big boys. Troopers are meant to be the first agents to enter unknown AWEs, thresholds, or any other paranaturally hazardous situation. They are heavily armored and armed in preparation for the worst. As a result of their roles, Hiss Troopers have access to the heaviest armor and the weaponry from the Bureau's armory, including military-grade chain guns and grenade launchers. In addition to their already formidable FBC-issued armor, the Hiss resonance surrounding these entities is dense enough to stop bullets. If forced to engage one of these, Be sure to make use of any available cover. Also note that to the telekinetically talented, enemy grenades can be a welcome source of ammunition. AKA, if you haven't figured it out, you can chuck your enemy's grenades back at them. It's pretty great. See all that mold? Gross. And we come out on a battle in progress. Let's help our boys, shall we? Rather not have to hire new ones. Okay, there we go. Whoop. Engineer from TF2 looking bastard. Bye-bye. We got... Get him down. Get him down. There we go. Y'all doing alright? We good? Okay. Cool. So I guess we went in ventilation, we came out. We fixed that stuff, we talked to him. Only one way left to go, and that's the control room. We got a fly guy. And regular gun. Regular gunman. Stop that. Pick up some health before we move on. And we will take the elevator. Boop. To the control room. Yeah, I really only want to do the maintenance arc for today's stream, just because I'm still not fully up to my big mental capacity. But that gives us a lot to do still. We have pitched combat with these boys. one thing I love about this game is when you are in combat, how much stuff is just flying around everywhere.
To protect them, forces contain the lockdown.
Alright, and we're gonna let
Directorial
Trench talk because we're gonna undo the lockdown in a minute. Obviously,
This is
we're
what
gonna
we
have
came here to
to
do.
use the hotline to hear what the hell he was actually saying. But I also wanted to scan for goodies that we can pick up because I love reading the lore. If you haven't figured that out already. Shall we? Oh, the Panopticon.
That's it. The other sector should be open now. I think it's time I told Emily why I'm here. I'll risk it. You two should get to know each other.
And we should also... Hi, Pilot! You're here for the very... well, the little last bit. We went into the maintenance sector, to fix the lockdown that the facility is under. That was our reason for coming here, is to get rid of the lockdown. But we got a report. Remember the book club? Unless You, review by Captain Lopez. These days, most young adult novels intertwine the coming-of-age story with either a contrived dystopian setting or a tragic romance. Unless You managed to do both. In the story, the protagonist and her love interest search for a cure for a virus called the Fix, which is simultaneously killing her and spreading across the whole world. To find the cure, they go on expeditions into dangerous, uncharted territories. The people all lived in walled cities now because dystopian future. Along the way, they just have to fall in love. I like how we never got to know if the Fix was ever actually fixed. The ending was bold, especially for young adults. The main character succumbs to the Fix when she's so close to the cure and commands her love interest to go on and save the world. She knows this is the end for her, but that the job can still get done. She dies out in the unknown, alone, surrounded by danger, but never loses sight of the goal. That's a good soldier's death. I give this book a solid 3 out of 5. I feel like most of my teenage angst is little lost on me, but I'd recommend it to my brother's kids. Pilot, what I can show you while we're here, because I like torturing Ty, is a little piece of art. Art, I say. We head up here. We head towards the break room. What is straight ahead? Black Rock Quarry and processing. We got a little bit to go before we're done for the day. But... hey, Ty. I do it out of love. You know that. Ooh. That was a decent little combat. So, pilot, also, we bound 2 objects of power to us. We now have... Oh, that's an open door. We now have access to both blocking via the safe and a dash via the merry-go-round. This was just a room with a chest. We also got clearance level 2. But why watch it on a TV when I can make it full screen, shall we? So this is episode 1 of The Threshold Kids. Yes, you heard episode. There's more of these. There are like 7 of these in the game.
Hey, Meg! What are you drawing? I'm drawing a dog!
I'm drawing the pyramid.
The what?
The pyramid.
It's cursed. It's cursed.
What's a pyramid?
The Black Pyramid. It's in the astral plane.
Airplane?
Astral plane. It's big, white, and empty. Or is it? It's a weird, crazy alien dimension. The white goes on forever. You can get lost in all that white and never find your way back home.
I miss my home.
And that was it. New cosplay goal. We recreate the Threshold Kids. You know...
So much is expected from the director. The responsibility, the privilege to steer the Bureau into dangerous waters and safely out again. To inspire and lead its people, to protect them. The board is there to advise you, but they want things in return. You hold all this in your old, trembling hands. I had to lose everything before I could see the Bureau is the director's life. There's no room for anything else. If the forces contained here escaped, we'd be dragged
sad
into an age of
oh
superstition, terror, death. Assuming you think we ever really left that behind. Any emergency, any major containment breach, and the lockdown goes into effect. I implemented this security measure in my first years as director. I knew we were vulnerable. I'd personally seen the cost of sloppiness. I made sure the internal lockdown could only be lifted by
yeah, no, there's not a no. I'll do it.
Only to be used
I'm in. You know, the most threatening
safety
part about the Threshold Kids is that because it is a live-action thing that was filmed, is that those puppets exist somewhere. Those are out there in the world, alongside us. Those puppets are out there and they can find you. Unlike the hiss or the objects of power, those are they can touch you. One day you could wake up and those puppets could be in your room. Trevor and Meg, I believe, were the names. Hey, Audie. I did it. You have no more jobs for me. Lovely painting. The puppets themselves are objects of power stored in Remedy HQ. I guess the easiest way is to not do that. You know, sometimes you just break your ankles. It's just how it goes. You mind your own business and then shatter. No feats for you. They're gone. You lost your feats rights. The lockdown is no longer in effect. So we can go. We can go back. But I want to stop in dead letters. Because I believe now that we have clearance level 2, we can open that other room in dead letters. Okay. Dear New York Tribune, airplanes aren't real. I figured out how they do it. The windows are TV screens. The whole thing moves on big tracks like a roller coaster that moves through underground tunnels in the earth. Airports are actually trade stations. They do this because the sky is full of monsters and they don't want us to know about it. The planes we see in the sky are the monsters. The government made the Earth trains look like the monsters so they could lie to us better. Don't contact me. My dude really did go don't at me. This is how it actually is. It's a power move. We have a little bit more time, like I said, so we can keep going a little bit. Wouldn't I?
Jesse,
Yeah, I
you
would
made
say
it.
don't at me.
And you lifted the internal lockdown. Let's talk, Emily. Yes, of course. Listen, Emily.
Screw it. Just tell her.
I haven't been completely honest. I have a younger brother, Dylan. When we were kids, we found an old slide projector in Ordinary's landfill. The slides created doorways to other places. Bad things came through.
That's all she gets. The rest stays locked inside.
But we found help. Through one of the doorways, we met something. A being.
A being? What kind of being?
It's hard to describe, but she helped us. We managed to turn the projector off. The bad things that came through the doorways were gone. After that, your people came. Tried to grab us. I ran away. They got Dylan.
I left him behind.
Bureau agents took your brother?
Yes. You covered it up. No one believed me. I just want to find Dylan. I've been looking for him ever since.
What happened to the slide projector? It sounds like another object of power.
I thought you took it. The Bureau. Along with Dylan.
I've never heard of it. But around here, assume everything's classified. You know, I looked into the ordinary AWE case files after you mentioned it. Trench and Darling were both involved. A large area of the containment sector was reserved
Fun
for it.
fact.
The case
In
has been
Alan
active for a
Wake's
long time.
American
I have
Nightmare,
no
the
idea if anything's still there.
1.5 cool to Alan Wake,
Can you tell me more
there is a
about
hidden
this
message
being you found?
that says
Let's
it will
hope you
happen
two get
again
along.
in another town called
She's been with me
Ordinary.
ever since Ordinary. In my head.
So there's that.
She led me to you.
There's that.
I call her Polaris.
Also,
As in a guiding star.
every time you see those swirlies, it turns out Jesse has not been talking to us, the player.
If she
Jesse
got you
has
in
been
here
talking
in
to
spite of
Polaris.
the lockdown, she's very powerful.
Yeah, Alan
Which
Wake
may help
seeded a lot of
explain your test
things
results. Your readings are
for this. I
incredible,
assume,
Jesse.
at least, that this game was in planning for a very long
I
time.
found 2 matches in Darling's old classified files. Unfortunately, I can't access them beyond the file codes. But one was P6, referring to a prime candidate for a potential future bureau director. This was logged years ago.
Dylan. Is that Dylan?
The other match is on something called Hedron, which must be connected to these Hedron resonance amplifiers somehow. All I know is that Marshall went to the research sector to secure the HRA production after the Hiss first attacked.
So, Marshall seems like our best lead on Dylan.
I need to go after her. How can I get to the research sector?
Use my keycard. The sector elevator will take you there.
Clearance level 3.
Marshall is the next step. What Emily told me about Ordinary, my powers being connected to things in the Bureau's past. I am so close to something. Do you feel it? Something's coming.
We take turns to come for a visit. I helped you. You owe me now. And when time comes, I will come calling.
Oh, I love this game so much. Do we have anything
Hi,
new to talk about with Pope? We do. So let's start with Darling's whereabouts.
I keep finding traces of Darling, but still can't find him. Where could he be?
But he's usually in his office in research or one of his labs. Dr. Darling has quite a few all around the Bureau. Could be hiding in any one of them. I check myself, but I don't have access to most of them.
Sounds like I touched a nerve.
He didn't let you into his labs?
Not all of them, no. Some had volatile material. It's ridiculous. I mean, this whole place is volatile material. Could have at least thought of a more convincing lie. I mean, how can I work without access to all the data possible?
What about the building shifts?
This place has a bad habit of moving around, huh?
So you notice the building shifts. Did you know that 39% of Bureau accidents are caused by the shifts? It's true. I ran the numbers myself.
So they're dangerous.
Oh, very. At one time, a shark got shifted into a meeting room along with over 2,000 gallons of water. It was a tiger shark. Darling's pet research project. I forget what he was researching.
How do people work here?
What about your role?
You said you're an assistant?
Oh, it's just a title. I'm a scientist, a researcher. I work for Dr. Darling. See, when Bureau agents go out in the field, the sites of altered world events, we study the materials, the altered items they bring back. It's always something we've never seen before. And studying them requires new instruments, methodologies, sometimes entirely new fields of science.
Emily really loves her job.
Yeah, I
See,
could
there's
listen
no
to Emily
guidebook
talk for a
what we
while.
do here. Everything that happens at the Bureau, including the science, is without precedent.
Know anything about the Ocean View Motel and Casino, that warping hotel we've been through?
What exactly is the Ocean View Motel?
That's a bigger question than you might think. You see, I have extreme doubts that the motel is a single place. I mean, look at all the doors inside it. Where do they all go? We know that one door leads to the oldest house, but how come we can only ever open that one door? Maybe to open a door, you have to have entered through it. So if every door leads to a different dimension, plane, reality, whatever you want to call it, then I believe that the motel is firm proof that parallel universes exist.
Does Darling agree with that?
I haven't told him yet. I'm waiting until I can prove it.
What about control points?
What can you tell me about control points?
They're nexus points of the oldest house's unique energies. Now, I wrote a 30-page proposal hypothesizing that we could siphon energy directly from them. Darling didn't even get through the first page before he turned it down.
Right. And, has anyone ever used them to teleport around?
What? No. What, I mean, you mean physically? No, not that I've ever heard of. Why?
Because that's how they work for me.
What? Really? Oh my god. More tests.
Let's hold off on the tests until later, okay?
She's just so excited.
Okay. It's just... wow. This blows my control point theories right out of the water. I love it.
Alright, well, thank you very much, Miss Pope.
See you soon.
Be careful out there.
We'll go for just a little bit longer. You've got to go to the parapsychology wing and research. But also upgrades, people. Upgrades. Because I would like to launch grenades back at the enemy. Everything requires 2. That requires 3. That requires 2. More shield strength.
Coordinating.
Then... can't make that yet. Can't do that yet.
What about the plant attracted them?
The power plant is largely confident.
Still don't have any new outfits.
No use guessing his motives if we don't even know what kind of...
Don't have anything we can do with that. Let's take the elevator, shall we? To the containment sector.
Containment sector. Panopticon. Altered items. Maximum security prison.
Wait. I meant to go to research. Oopsie. Yeah, oh, I know, I'll level 4. Yeah, I really meant to take us to research. That's fine. We'll get the first control point in this area. And boogie out. I still hear combat music. Okay. Let's pick everything up that we can.
Reminder, this week, any documents that suddenly appear pink, light red, or any shade in between, must be incinerated immediately. Failure to do so will result in termination and possible bodily harm. Thank you for your attention.
Wonder if that has to do with the hiss. So the Panopticon, which is where we ended up, is literally where everything is secured and contained in the Bureau. So all the oops and alternate items, in theory, should be in storage here. Yep, there's our... all these guys kind of remind me of a specific character from Death Stranding in the way they move around. Mr. Cliff. Okay. Now let's yeet ourselves the hell and back towards research. Because that was an oopsie. Those poor people. All these punch cards. Research. There we go. This is where we're supposed to be.
Welcome to the Research Sector of the Federal Bureau of Control. I'm Dr. Casper Darling, Head of Research. Somebody thought this video would make for great internal communications. I'm looking at you, Mr. Tomasi. So, this is where the magic happens. Anyway, I've been here for 24 years now. I've always been here. And through those years...
I feel like Dr. Darling would be fun to hang out with.
Discoveries, authored studies of grave importance, and in all this work, there is one thing we know, and that's how little we truly know. Rest assured, we're committed to keep pushing the known laws and borders of reality, and to make the Bureau proud. So, welcome. Assuming you have the necessary clearance, and do follow the safety protocols. Read the manual. Otherwise, bad things will happen.
Thanks,
Research
Dr. Darling.
Sector, huh? Home of the Bureau's mad scientists.
Hell yeah. Plant complaint. Hey, so I was just wondering about the plants in research. Is it really necessary to sing to them? I mean, the janitor does have a nice voice, and the plants sure seem to like it. Maybe he could, you know, just switch it up a bit. I'm pretty tired of the tango. And where did these come from? No one seems to remember when they were planted, and people like them a bit too much if you ask me. Are we being invaded by houseplants? That's worth looking into. By Dr. Lewis. Well, what do we have here? A glimpse into the paranatural, synchronicity, and the unseen connections. Synchronicity is a phenomenon long recognized by the wise, but only recently given a name by science. It's how we rationalize events connected by no indefinite causality, yet clearly conjoined in purpose. How does a dream foretell an event in the physical plane? Why do hounds bail at the death of their master, which has occurred miles away? The world is unified in ways we don't understand, and yet sometimes we stumble across these invisible connections and wonder at the result. The visionary Carl Jung laid the road, and now we must walk it. My fledgling research department will make it our mission to reliably reproduce blank behavior by the close of 1959. Once done, the mechanics of synchronicity will lay themselves bare in due time. We are striding into the future of science. History may not remember our names, but God himself will. And we have another one. While altered items and objects of power may seem similar at first, it is important to note very key distinctions. Firstly, objects of power grant para-utilitarian abilities, aka we get an object of power, we bind to it, we get a new trick. Secondly, these translocate anyone who makes contact to the astral plane. This is widely believed to be due to the blank's affiliation with objects of power. Not every individual is allowed in the astral plane, which indicates the blank evaluates who can or can't enter. Pretty sure that's the board. Thirdly, this is not always the case. Objects of power are more paranaturally blank than altered items. Look at the way specific criteria defines an object of power. It's no wonder that notably rarer than altered items. In fact, we have blank altered items for every object of power within the Bureau. We have the research sector. We have pink documents. And then we have a new hotline about the Panopticon. Oh, and we have an update from the board about the hiss. Okay. Thanks, board. Cool. So there's a lot going on down here. Firstly, these guys. A possible AWE in which an unnamed individual experienced transcorporeality via a phone line. Event is noticeably similar to AWE blank, which blank blank. Event is believed to have been caused by blank blank, and as a result, the following measures have been taken to prevent blankety blank blank blank. Oh, if only Discord had a way for me to... I mean, I guess I could use the censored tag to censor out the fact snipers. tell you, when the combat in this game goes right, just chef's kiss. And by goes right, I mean when, like, you can make it look visually appealing. Parapsychology, that's our goal. Let's avoid that for now. Because our goal, or at least my goal, is to look around. And don't worry, Ty. We'll get to Alan Wake's Nightmare. Oh, we got stairs down. Where could this go? Oh, the licensed music room. Those are the lyrics to a song which is playing in that room. Let's turn that off. This is an experiment room. Records. Unread. Questionnaires about the song, specifically My Darkest Quiet. Any memories? Just asking what people felt about hearing the song. And then that licensed song, which I'm not going to play. So they were doing an experiment with licensed music in there. And the experiment wasn't about licensed music, but... So down there, all the way down there, my friends, is where the mold lives. That is the mold zone. It's safe to stand here because they've scorched it away. The source of all the mold in the Bureau is down there. Summary. Thresholds have always been sources of great inspiration and great challenge. When a new threshold manifests in the oldest house by blank, we never know what new discoveries it will provide the Bureau. But we must always seize these opportunities. This report will examine the process of distinguishing recent threshold effects based on their utilitarian possibilities. The quarry brought black rock, one of our most invaluable discoveries. But if the mold has any scientific value, it's been difficult to find due to the lengths we must go in fighting back this particularly prolific plant. There are very distinct cases and worth comparing as their study vastly differs. Dangers and rewards. So down there is the mold. Later in the game, when we are a little more kitted out, we will go down there and deal with the mold. But in the meantime, the mold can suck it. I have no desire to go see the mold. We should actually at some point just go down there to pick up a quest chain involving the mold, but that'll be for the next part maybe. Got a bathroom. Ooh. What'd we get? Tier 4 choke. Hell yeah. Also, we have a second mod slot which we can put in. Let's get rid of some of the trash. Deconstruct. Basically, if we have anything that's tier 2, we don't want to hang on to a tier 1 variant. There's little to no need. More energy, energy recovery speed, launch cost, more health, evade cost, shield strength. Let's give ourselves more energy. That will be very useful. So we can safely do the ashtray maze. I am aware of that much. The ashtray maze will be handleable on its own in this game. Anything else? Not sure. Hi, Carla. Does it strike you as odd that Darling insists on having us appear in those bizarre videos of his? I mean, we just stand there. He doesn't even let us have lines or anything. Plus, don't get me wrong, it beats a day in the lab. And it's great to work with you. Oh yeah, I finished the comparative analysis of the 2 Blackrock samples you sent. The prism, or whatever you called it. I filed them in the usual place, under C for Carla. A highly mnemonic device, right? Haha. Anyway, let me know if there's anything you want to discuss about the data. I'll gladly explain. Maybe we can chat about it over some drinks or dinner. I can't remember the last time I had a good steak. Maybe we could go together. All my best, Hubert. I hope Carla and Hubert are doing just fine. I'm sure they are not possessed by the hiss and floating somewhere. Perhaps right there. So that's parapsychology. We're gonna avoid that like the plague for now. Instead, we're gonna go up. There we go. We're just gonna go up. Even though, yep, that's where I wanted to go. We also have dimensional research. This is another fire break, but it is one that we can cross.
Can never pass through.
So this right here is the ashtray maze. We're going to stand right here. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at it right here. And we're going to come back here much later. For anybody who ever played Super Mario 64, it's kind of like that staircase that's infinite until you have the necessary stuff to go through it. We have no hopes of navigating it. Although Ty and I know the secret to navigating it, we cannot in-game until the game knows we have learned the proper way to do it. Must I have to fight you? Anybody else? Yep, you. You. Caught a grenade. Super Grain Dave 64. Up, screaming goose. Oh, is that a beefy? Is there a beefy guy? Yeah, it's a beefy. It's a big beefy fella. Now we have these guys as regular enemies. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, before we were so rudely interrupted, the last place I want to check out before we cut for this is going to be Dr. Darling's office. It's always a good time in here. We have all these lovely little...
Questions recently regarding HRAs. What are they for? Do you always need to wear them? And what's the deal with the Hedron resonance anyway? Fuck.
We will watch
Despite
this
what
one
you may have
blown
heard,
up in a minute.
HRAs are not monitoring devices. We're not tracking your movements. We're listening to your conversations while you're wearing them. We do that regardless whether or not you're wearing an HRA. Think of them as a life preserver. Only instead of water, the thing HRAs protect you from is classified. One day that classified, not water, might pour in, and you'll be glad you got an HRA keeping you afloat. And if you don't have an HRA, don't worry. It'll be quick and painless. Kidding. I'm kidding. We're making more.
Alright. There is so much to pick up in here. So we'll grab everything and work through it. But we can see that whatever Darling was up to, and oh boy was he up to some stuff. He was having a time in his office. So let's, I guess, read through the documents and then watch that video. So we have the astral plane. Summary: the Bureau has spent years studying why objects of power transport users to the astral plane when touched. My predecessor, Dr. Ash, theorized that a potential receptacle would be inhabited by paranatural energies from an AAWE occurred in its vicinity, creating an altered item. Over time, a link was created by the blank and the astral plane to that item, making it an object of power. Just Darling things. So many additional theories have been raised since Dr. Ash's time. Objects of power were placed on Earth as tests by some astral entity. Our dimension was once part of the astral plane, and the objects were left behind. The astral plane was an early threshold into the oldest house, but its connections were severed, and now the two are linked solely through the objects of power. I will attempt to disprove some of these in order to thin the herd. Hopefully, the truth will emerge. Counter-essay. Dr. Darling is insistent that certain objects of power share a direct connection to the board. I'm just going to say that one because we pretty much know it's the board. An entity or group of entities that we have little information on or that I'm allowed to access. In his written reports, he states that there's a clear link between these objects of power, the board, the astral plane, and the oldest house itself. His work supposes these links are innate, a fact integrated into the very blank, I'm going to assume that's nature, of objects such as the hotline or service weapon. But what if these objects were never linked to the board, but had that connection forced upon them? Isn't it strange that no other objects of power require such contact with the board? Isn't it strange that using the service weapon or the hotline will result in grievous harm or death if the user is not the director, or at least worthy of the role? Why do we not assume this involvement by the board is just a natural fact of something more blank? Resonance. It's there. We can't see it. It vibrates around us, through us, from us. But what if the vibration is conscious? What could a force like that do? Blank opened the door to a blank. I've called blank. The blank emits a force that is far beyond the forces we've previously dealt with. It's shown me so much that I have to wonder, is resonance the key element in altered phenomenon, AWEs, altered items, objects of power? Do they share a common blank that we've yet to discover? We can harmonize control points. What else would the correct frequency allow us to achieve? What if resonance has been the answer all this time? Refer to file blank for the full report. Dear Dr. Darling, I suspect my colleague Dr. Harrington has already contacted you asking for an increase in her department's budget. I'm not surprised. Parapsychology has always been the squeaky wheel. All fuss, no results. Parakinesiology has always been the stronger department. More breakthroughs, more tangible data, more usable research. I'm sure a man of your esteem can plainly see which department is more deserving of the budget increase. Just think that those additional resources could do for an already formidable research team. Anyway, I know you're a fan of single malt, so I left a bottle of well-aged brown on your desk. Yours in admiration, Dr. Abraham Lewis. We have the hotline. We have Trench talking about the ashtray maze.
I'm averse to using objects of power. I don't want to lean on things I ultimately can't trust. But the ashtray and the cigarette, smoking there forever, have their uses. The ashtray maze they conjure is an impossibly changing labyrinth that no one but the binder, and those the binder invites, can ever pass through. The things we hid in dimensional research, the things Darling studies, the danger and the risk involved, call for every measure of security and protection I could bring to the table. The maze, hands down, is our strongest lock. I gave Darling and his chosen crew license to pass through the maze. Lately, I've started to think I should revoke that license.
Why you gotta be a dick, Trench? Look how much of a mess he is. Clearly this is closer to our arrival here than the other videos.
What are they for? Do you always need to wear them? And what's the deal with the Hadron resonance anyway? Fuck. Despite what you may have heard, HRAs are not monitoring devices. We're not tracking your movements. We're listening to your conversations while you're wearing them. We do that regardless whether or not you're wearing an HRA. Think of them as a life preserver. Only instead of water, the thing HRAs protect you from is classified. One day that classified, not water, might pour in and...
I wonder if that bottle on his desk is the one that Dr. Lewis left for him.
And if you don't have an HRA...
Just continuity things.
Don't worry. It'll be quick and painless. Kidding. I'm kidding. We're making more.
More mods. Headshot damage. Just clearing out these while we're thinking about it. I could do this off cam, but you know. And I think that is where we will leave things for now. We completed an entire arc today. and started our foray into the research sector. And there is a lot to be done here. So thank you everybody, of course, for coming and hanging out with me and experiencing more of this world, this game that I love so much. I can't wait to share more of it with you. Everybody be good, and yeah, I'll see y'all around.